Update. Everybody's mad at me that I, 18 male, don't support my ex, 18 female, coming out. And now she's told me something else crazy. Don't know what to do. Original post. I, 18 male, posted about the issue related to this a few weeks ago. Only now things just got more complicated. It feels like life just decided to say, F you, here's more for you to deal with. But I'm lost even more about what to do. My ex-girlfriend, 18 female, cheated on me a while back and came out as a gay. She got with the girl she cheated on me with. They've been together for a while behind my back, and according to her, going out with me was all to see if she was into guys or not, since she already knew she liked girls. It still has messed up and I hate her so much. Everyone, like even my parents, were fully supportive of her, and I couldn't take it anymore. I left to go stay with my cousin who lives an hour away, so it was perfect to get away from everybody. My parents wouldn't leave me alone because my ex hasn't stopped wanting to reach out to me. She called me from a different number. Finally learned the reason she hasn't stopped trying to reach out is because she's pregnant. Our relationship ended like 3 months ago, but she's 4-ish months or something around there. I'm so freaking stupid and hate myself for making sure rubbers didn't break. Because now here we are. My ex was crying the whole time she kept saying sorry for hurting me, and she knows it was wrong to cheat, but she didn't know what else to do. I don't know. Maybe don't freaking cheat. I don't know what to do now. I don't ever want to see her again, but it's my baby. What I ended up saying was she can get a procedure or maybe give the baby up, or keep it and take my money, but I can't have her in my life. So she'll be on her own. At the time, I was mad when I told her she's on her own and hung up. Now I'm thinking about it now, and I don't know what to do. It still hurt now there's a baby, and that means if she has it, I'm stuck with her, which is the last thing I want. Don't think I could be part of this because it's too much. What the hell do I do now? Edit. Yeah, I have confirmation that she really is pregnant. Trust me. Me more than anyone didn't want to believe this is happening. Said in another comment too, we got proof I'm the dad. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Best thing to do now is contact a lawyer and see what you are legally obligated to. I don't have money for a lawyer. I'm pretty sure there are free services out there for giving you general advice on how certain legal situations work. Ah, okay, cool. Didn't know that. Yeah, bro, just reach those feelers out. The laws are there online too, but nothing beats the words of a good lawyer. You can try calling around for advice at no cost, or for recommendations. I suppose the question lies in what you two decide on doing. You'll be intertwined with this kid forever. You've done just about all you can do. You had your heart broken, gave yourself some much-needed space, and now have to deal with the second bombshell she dropped into your lap. 4 months into a pregnancy as well into the second trimester. You're almost at a point where you can determine the sex. Depending on where you live, elective procedures may no longer be a legal option. If that's the case, then she's left with only 2 real options. She can give up the child up for adoption, or she can keep it. You don't have to marry her. You might be able to sign away parental rights if a live birth takes place. The bottom line is, no, you're not stuck with her. But you may have to learn how to share the same space. I know this doesn't come across as particularly helpful, but right now you're just going to have to roll with the punches as they come. What I ended up saying was she can get a procedure or maybe give the baby up. Or keep it and take my money, but I can't have her in my life. OP, this response is all you need to repeat as a broken record until the end of your days. Get your own paternity test and get a lawyer. You can co-parent if you want or give her all the custody rights if she decides to keep the baby, but you are not obligated under any circumstance to take her back. When she didn't know she was pregnant, she'll leave her a fair partner and try to fix things. If she wants the support of a partner, she has the other woman. Proof. DNA test and then make it clear that no matter what, you will not have any relationship with her. If she keeps the child, decide what you want to do. Reiterate that you have 0 good feelings towards her and that you won't be in her life. Frankly, she sucks and you don't have to raise a kid with her. Well, she's lesbian, so I really doubt it about wanting a relationship. I'm gonna take some time. But yeah, right now I just don't have it in me to do that. Not after the things she's done. And now for the update. Okay, so lots of crap has happened since then. I don't know where to start. Baby was born premature. My parents told me he was 34 weeks. He's alive though, don't worry. But before that, I talked to my ex a few days after my last post. And I basically said, either give up the baby for adoption or do it on your own, because I'm not going to be involved. And you really need to think about it, because no matter what, I'm not going to help her at all. Aside from the child support, obviously. She got really upset over it, and she basically told me okay, she won't bother me again. Ever since, I wasn't talking to anyone in my family, because I already knew what they were going to say about me choosing to not be involved. Till my parents told me she gave birth and he is in NICU for babies born premature. My mom told me I need to see him now. He's okay and doctors say so, but if anything happened to him and I didn't let myself see him, well, yeah. So that's what I did. I was scary AF. First time I went, I was just looking at him. It made me cry. When I saw all the stuff they had on him, it freaked me out. He's so tiny too. I started coming every day to see him for a week. They say he's doing better. Not really any big complications, and they say he's gonna be healthy as he gets older. The nurses started showing me how to have him on my chest, and that's mostly what we're doing every time I come visit. I'm still scared for him though. It's been emotional and been making me think about how I don't think I can't be involved. Like he could have died and I never would have met him. My parents want to help take care of him. They've been more in contact with my ex and her family than me. She decided right now she can't be involved when she wants to be in school and not really ready for a baby. They were going for adoption, her and her parents. That's when my mom told me they said they'd take him, so he's not given to some agency. Now that I'm saying I want to be a dad for him, my parents tell me they'll help however they can. Help with money so he's got what he needs, do babysitting when I'm at work/school, or pay to have a nanny to take care of him, etc. There's still lots of stuff we're gonna need to go over because I'm still living an hour away. Ed is gonna have doctor's visits he's gonna need to go to here. Most likely gonna be moving back for him. Then with my ex, they're working out with a lawyer so that it says I'd have custody and she doesn't really want anything else. It's been so many stuffs going on at a time. I'm scared when I think about it. Honestly though, I already feel like I love him. And it was scary thinking what if he died. Still cared about it now, but they keep telling me it's gonna be okay. Man, it's freaking trippy to think about it still. But I have a son. In the beginning, I didn't want to be part of his life. Except after all this crap that went down, I don't want to lose him. What a character arc. Goddamn man, I cried. The hardest part about being a single dad is the baby part. But when they're toddlers, it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. Way to step up, bro. Very proud, and I don't even know you. Yeah, I admit, thinking back now, I feel bad for my attitude about him. Mostly was mad at my ex for cheating on me. I didn't care if she was gonna do it alone. Or my baby not having a dad because I just didn't want to see her again. It feels different for me now with him here, and I actually get to hold him. Find a therapist too. You're young and going through an emotional roller coaster. Especially since A, your ex cheated on you and now you're going to be co-parenting, and B, Bub's in the NICU, which is terrifying even when you weren't expecting to be part of his life. My son was a 35-week NICU baby, and I was in shock for a good week after he was born. And he was planned. You've got this, and you'll do great. I was thinking the same thing too. All night I can't sleep thinking about him. My mom's had to make me go home for sleep. It's too much for sure, so talking to someone, I probably will soon. She decided right now she can't be involved when she wants to be in school and not really ready for a baby. Your ex is a piece of work till the very end. She's the one that was determined to screw everyone over to have this kid, and now she's saying she's not ready? And you who never wanted a baby in the first place has to change all your life plans and become a parent. She's complete garbage. At least I have my son with me and won't have to deal with her at all. Still hate her for everything else she did to me. No matter how much she wanted me to forgive her for using me, I can't. But got my son out of it, and I don't have to be worried that I don't love him because I really do. To be honest, it sounds like you're gonna be a really good dad. Your kid is lucky to have you and your family. Now for the last story. I, 32 female, don't want my husband, 34 male, to feel resentful for us not having more children. Hit a sensitive spot last night. Plus, little update. We have 2 lovely young kids we love very much. 2 emergency C-sections. 5 years so far as a stay-at-home mom and looking at an additional 2 more years, but I'm done having kids. I want to be able to make my own money, have more social life, and not have my whole identity revolve around my kids. I love the family dynamic we have now, but I feel adding more kid will add more responsibility and stress. My husband came from a family of 4, and I'm an only child. He keeps on saying that he grew up in an environment with more children and would like to have more. Last night, we had a discussion again, and I said something along the lines of, I don't want 4 kids because I don't want to end up like his mom, who has been a stay-at-home mom her whole life. This struck a wrong chord with him, and it feels like I'm talking down on his mom. I feel like I'm merely stating a fact. He went on defensive mood and said that his mom has done way more than I have done, and this comment hurt me, because I don't think he realizes how much I have given up to raise our children. I love and want my children, but I also want to achieve things outside of that. I would really like to see couples counseling, but he doesn't think we need it. He thinks talking about will solve our problem, but I don't think our discussion are going anywhere. He is fine with my decision, but he says he is resentful that we won't have more. He has hobbies too that he wants to keep going, and I told him that if we have more kids, that will put his hobbies in jeopardy too. He just brushed it off and said that the older kids can take care of the younger ones. I wish he would be more supportive and see how much more realistic it is for us to have 2 kids to have the type of lifestyle we want. Any advice would be appreciated in how to go forward. Now for the top advice. Suggest that if you were to have more children, then he could be a stay-at-home parent while you trended to your work and hobbies. If he doesn't want that, ask him to state why, and ask him to be specific. And also, explain to him what parentification is. Don't do that to your kids just because you want more OP. Underrated comment. I don't think people understand the impact this can have on the older children. Really? She asked her husband if he was prepared to sacrifice his time for more kids, and his response was, the older kids will raise the younger kids. What the heck kind of response is that? You want more kids only to pass them off on your other kids? Really? What is that? How can you think that's a reasonable response? OP did not have more kids with this man, and did not give up on impressing on him that more kids mean more sacrifices from both of you. Time, energy, and patience. You're creating human beings. They're more than just an extra picture for him to put in his wallet and show off to old ladies. That's awful how he says how the older kids will take care of younger ones. That's not good parenting at all. Does he take care of the kids at all? You should put more responsibility on him. And maybe having more kids don't feel that fun anymore. He takes care of them to a certain degree. He works full-time but always make time to hang out with them. Play for a short time is cool, but for a longer period of time it always feels like a chore to him. Sorry, playing with your kids is not taking care of them. Does he do bath times? Bed times? Does he help them get dressed or make them food? Does it take them to get haircuts or other errands? I'm a stay-at-home mom and my husband does all of that and more. He splits chores with me, 50-50 co-parents with me after work hours, and takes over everything to give me occasional nights, some full weekends, and every single Sunday morning off. Kids should sometimes feel like chores because they are. They're a lot of work. It's very easy to want a dozen kids when you all have to do is play blocks for 10 minutes and kiss them goodnight. He just brushed it off and said that the older kids can take care of the younger ones. So he's okay with you not ever getting to have the life you want, as well as parentifying your older kids so that he can still have his hobbies? Keep a very close eye on your birth control, or get something you can't tamper with. Not to mention the fact she already had 2 emergency C-sections. Does he understand how freaking dangerous that is? It would be one thing if Opie voluntarily wanted to put her body through another pregnancy, but clearly she doesn't. And her husband is fine with pressuring her to risk her life for a 3rd time? WTF? I'm glad someone else noticed this. C-sections have much higher mortality rates. If Opie dies during childbirth, then what happens to the other kids? Dad surely won't take care of them. Edit. Thank you everyone for your input. It has given me a lot to think about. Honestly, he is not a bad father and spends a lot of time outside of work with the kids. But I just don't think the two of us can handle 4 kids. I've seen his friends that have 3+ kids, and I can tell from their personalities that it's fitting for them. I just don't think our personalities are fitting. To the people that tell me to take off for a weekend and let my husband handle the childcare, yes, I thought about it. But in the end, I don't want my kids to be collateral damage for our disagreement. I would worry too much if they, mobile baby and toddler, would get into an accident or something. And when he talked about having the older one take care of the younger one, I think he meant for the older ones to play with the younger ones, not so much handling all the chores. First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my brother and sister-in-law to find alternate childcare? My 41 female, brother 39 male, and sister-in-law have 2 kids, 7-year-old and 5-year-old, while my husband and I are child-free by choice. I have no issues with kids. I just didn't want my own, and my husband and I enjoy a life where we're the fun aunt and uncle rather than parents. My husband and I have zero issue with taking my niece and nephew for a night or 2 to give my brother and sister-in-law a break, but we enjoy our peace and quiet, so we try not to do this all the time. My brother has had cutbacks at his company, so my sister-in-law started working part-time to help with some of the bills. My niece and nephew are going to school online for obvious reasons, so they need help with childcare. My brother asked if I would be willing to watch them during the day since my husband and I both work from home, and we agreed with the promise that it would be temporary until they could find other childcare arrangements. That was 4 months ago. I have a massive trial coming up and have been working between 7 to 80 hours per week to prepare. I spoke with my brother and sister-in-law multiple times and informed them that I cannot continue overseeing my niece and nephew's schooling and working, and they really need to find someone else to watch them because it is just too much for me to handle at the moment. It came to a head yesterday when I had an important client meeting, and my niece and nephew started arguing over a TV remote. My husband was in a work call and could not take care of it, so I had to get up in the middle of a meeting to handle it. When my sister-in-law came to pick them up, I informed her that they have 2 weeks to find childcare because I cannot watch them anymore. I told her that it was affecting my job performance, and it was not fair for them to put me in this position. My sister-in-law called me selfish and said I was uncaring. My brother called me and told me that I have no compassion for what they're going through and that it needs my help. I told him that if it was financial, I am more than willing to chip in for a nanny or a pair to watch them during the day for their schooling, but that just made him angrier. He accused me of flaunting my wealth. Now my sister-in-law put in her 2 weeks' notice at her job, and my brother is blaming me and saying it's my fault if they end up homeless. Am I the a-hole for telling them they need to find new childcare? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You are under no obligation to care for their child given how busy you are, and they are so rude that even when offered to pay for a nanny that was flaunting your wealth. Not the a-hole under no obligation to care for their children. It does not matter if you are busy or not. They are not your obligation. This infuriates me. Anyone who has had kids school at home while they try to work knows how impossible it is. This is an enormous favor you've done for them. And while you're trying to work 80-hour weeks and taking client meetings for 4 months. Wow. For them to blame you for anything is outrageously entitled and unappreciative. People seem to not understand the work part of work from home. They think people have time that they just don't have. In the end, work and kids suffer because neither get the attention they deserve. Not the a-hole. Your brother and sister-in-law, however, are the a-holes. They sound like a bunch of freeloaders. And sister-in-law quit her work instead of finding someone else. Overdramatic. Feel sorry for the kids. Yeah, it sounds like she cut off her nose to spite her face. Like she's trying to prove to Opie that she is responsible for this. Opie's definitely not responsible, of course. Not the a-hole. Them telling you are selfish for not taking care of their children is laughable. Their projection of their issues on other things should not be your concern. Your own well-being and future are top priority. And I'd say stick with your decision. You did the right thing. Props for giving them a 2 weeks notice for that matter. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for no longer allowing my sister to work in my daycare after what she did? Hi, I'm a 32-year-old widow. Have been for 3 years. I struggled a lot financially. I didn't get help from my family because they claim they can't. So I decided to start a home daycare. It's been open for 7 months now. My friend was able to get me more clients via Facebook. Thank goodness my business is growing. And I've made quite a lot of friends who are moms, and also established good reputation since my daycare has been recommended. My sister, 26, is unemployed. Didn't find a job yet and had rent to pay for her and her boyfriend. My parents suggested I let her come work with me at my daycare, and accepted since she has experience in the past. I agreed to let her come and earn her living. She got along with the other workers and things were going fine. Until she came to me asking about a specific child that comes to our daycare. He's 4, very well behaved for his age. I was confused after she complained about him. She said she saw his dad come over to pick him up and didn't feel comfortable when she saw him because he's a police officer and she had an unpleasant incident with the police because of something her boyfriend did that she needed therapy for and struggled a lot from. She wanted me to let the child go and tell the parent to look for another daycare. He usually arrives at 3 p.m. to pick the kid up. From what I understand, his wife is sick. I refused. I have no good reason to let the child go. My sister refused to drop it and started being mean to the dad. It was unprofessional of her. I told her she either be respectful or I won't have her work with me anymore. 2 days ago, she sent an email to the dad telling him we won't be welcoming his kid at the daycare anymore. He came to talk to me, and I was livid when I saw the email. He asked why and talked about his kid wanting to stay because he's friends with other kids. Talked about not being able to find a daycare closer than ours. I lashed out at my sister, and I told her she's no longer able to work at the daycare because of her behavior. We got into an argument, and she left after saying I was being unsupportive and inconsiderate. My parents called me saying I shouldn't have kicked my sister out, and now causing her to lose her apartment. They argued I have no regard for my sister's trauma, and I should have let the child go and support her because she's my sister. Everyone shamed me and claimed I had messed up priorities. I felt I was in the wrong for letting her struggle now without a job, but I have no reason to let go of the child as well. He wears a uniform. My aunt suggested that I ask him to get someone else to come and pick up his kid, or at least I'll let her leave before 3 p.m. and arrive a bit late in the morning, but others would notice the difference in treatment at the daycare. I understand that there are parents struggling and I do all I can to help out and be supportive. Yes, she's my younger sister, but treating people like that was unprofessional of her. One thing to clarify, my sister's boyfriend is in no contact with my family due to issues. However, they said they want to support my sister and be in contact with her and support her, although they don't have a relationship with her boyfriend. That's why they keep pressuring me to help and support her. Not the a-hole. You could have lost the whole business because of what she did, and you gave her plenty of warning. Even if she needed therapy, she was still being beyond unreasonable. She could have excused herself for a break at the time the cop came to come to his kid, and she'd have never needed to see him. But instead, she went behind your back and went against your explicit instructions. She got exactly what she deserves. The fact that she had the nerve to send an email as if she had any authority. She is not an owner or partner, and she way overstepped her position. If any other employee pulled this stunt, they would have been fired too. She's not exempt just because she's your sister. From someone who strongly believes in police abolition, you are not the a-hole. While maybe your sister would not be the best person to interact directly with this particular dad, she's putting her own issues on a kid for what she believes, correctly or not, are the sins of the father. There is no reason for her to have anything against a child, or to want to set care on the basis of her feelings towards the father's profession. Right? I'm like, I wouldn't be best friends with the father, but holy hell is the sister whack. Not the a-hole. She unilaterally made a decision about your business. If this person wasn't your sister, there'd be no argument from anyone she should be fired. Unfortunately for your sister, this is the consequence of her actions. If you're this dependent on a job for your financial stability, you don't pull this stupid crap like this. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for causing my family to miss my brother's wedding? My wife and I just lost our second baby. Our first was a stillbirth. Our daughter lived for only a month due to a medical condition. We didn't get to take her home, but we have a few pictures of her before she passed away 3 weeks ago. It's difficult trying to get used to living like that, but we have no choice. My wife and I missed out on some family events, including my brother's wedding. Everyone was being considerate and gave us enough space to regain strength. I work long hours and night shifts while my wife stays at home. I was on shift the day of my brother's wedding. A few days ago, my mom and my sister were complaining about my brother's fiance's no-child rule, and they wanted someone to watch the kids for a few hours. My sister suggested that we do that, but I told her I had work and my wife wasn't up to it. And I really thought that was the end of the discussion. On the day of the wedding, I left home for work at 3. I got a call from my wife at 5 telling me my cousin just came and dropped 6 kids from my family at our house and told her that he'd come back to pick them up later. I was freaking livid. I went home and I started calling my sister, cousin, and sister-in-law to come pick their kids right then. They kept stalling, but I demanded they tell my cousin to turn around and come pick the kids up. Instead, they started showing up one by one, taking their kids, cussing me out, claiming I was overreacting since my wife didn't say anything. My wife doesn't know how to say no, so it's on me to set boundaries, although it's hard with them calling me the problem. My parents said I caused the family to miss most of my brother's wedding by looking for someone else to watch the kids, and basically blamed me for refusing to take the kids for just a few hours, saying I don't understand because I don't have kids. I don't know how hard it is. That line cut too deep. I've already had 2 kids that I lost. Everyone's arguing with me for causing them this issue on the wedding, and said I ruined it instead of doing this one little favor. I sent a mass text telling them they can start blaming each other instead of us after I told them we couldn't watch the kids. Now they won't even want to see me. Was I the a-hole for what I did? Now for the top comments. Holy cow, not an a-hole. I don't understand how you would possibly think you are. You clearly told them no. They smashed your boundaries, refused to listen, and dumped their kids. When you rightfully insisted they come to get them, they started doubling down and throwing barbed statements. Your family's undoubtedly selfish, petty, and terrible. Don't feel bad for what you did. Just because they're blood doesn't mean they aren't capable of being awful. This, 1000% this, was typing a similar reply, but there's no need to. Also, I am so sorry for you and your wife's losses. Not an a-hole. You're still a father. Your children just aren't here with you on this plane of existence. Your family shouldn't rely on you to take their kids when you've said your wife isn't up to it, which is totally understandable all things considered, and you had been working. It was absolutely inappropriate of them to think you would even want to take their kids. As for your family, you are not a babysitting service. You are grieving the loss of a child, a hurt that will never truly go away. It is a pain they won't feel unless it happens to them, and a pin I know you wouldn't wish on them. They do not understand that things like this can be harmful to you and your very obviously grieving wife. They are the a-hole, not you or your wife. Thanks for responding, and you're right about what you said here. The lack of respect and consideration they have for me and my wife is awful. They have no regard for us and keep trying to blame me for what happened. Not an a-hole, but your family is effing full of them. My God. Sending my deepest condolences to you and your wife. Exactly not an a-hole. They ruined their wedding experience by not booking a babysitter for their kids when they knew you could not watch them. They have no one to blame but themselves for being idiotic. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not going to family events because I never get a fair vote in what we do? I, 24 male, have 3 sisters. We always did what they wanted to do growing up. They were in the majority, but it never really bothered me. I would just stay home when they went out. I finally moved out about 2 years ago. COVID came and we haven't seen each other in a long time. They were all planning on meeting up when restrictions lightened up. We all threw ideas on what to do, but all my ideas were shut down. They finally agreed on a wine tasting restaurant. It's basically a place where you just taste wine. I don't like wine and tried to choose a different place. I was shut down because we all voted on it. I told them I'm not paying for something I don't want to do. I would skip this one, but I would go to the next family outing if we all agreed on it. They didn't take this lightly and started an argument about me being an a-hole for always skipping events and never going with the family. I tried to tell them to choose something we can all do, and not something you guys want to do. At this point, I'm done talking about it. I just stopped responding to them about it. Now I'm having second thoughts on if I should just go. Am I the a-hole for almost never going to family events and skipping this one as well? Not the a-hole. It's like me getting upset my vegetarian mother doesn't want to join us to a barbecue restaurant where only the corn is meat-free. Imagine all the fun you'd have had, sitting there with a glass of water and watching your family drink and talk only about wine. How dare you not join them? Majority rules is fine if you're a child and not paying, but as an adult, you shouldn't have to pay to go do something you have absolutely no interest in doing. I don't drink, so I would never do this even if the point is to taste and spit it out. Gonna go with not at a-hole because they decided to berate you for simply not wanting to go and trying to use the but family excuse. Yep, majority rules just means the same person / group is left out every time. Maybe OP could suggest taking turns picking the outing? Also, majority rule sucks for kids too. It is mainly just an excuse to exclude and bully. Not at a-hole. They specifically chose something you don't like, and then berated you because you don't want to pay money to do it. Seems really unfair. If I were you and you really want to see them but always get outvoted, maybe plan something you want to do and don't give them a choice. Just say, hey, I'd really like to spend some time together. I've planned a game night at my place on this day. Hope you can make it. If the date doesn't work for everyone, let's figure out a better day. If they argue about what you've planned, just say, that's fine, you don't have to come. I just wanted to plan something I like for a change, and I really wanted to see you. If they don't come, or they pitch a fit, then I'd stop trying. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.